Good morning, friends. I'm Dr. Yogesh Sarode of Juvan Vikas Mahavidyalaya Deogram. I welcome you all in this session. Today, we will learn about the interpretation part of the poem She Walks in Beauty, written by Lord Byron. Earlier, we had seen the introductory part and paraphrasing also. Now, today, we'll concentrate on its interpretation. So, friends, the poem praises and seeks to capture a sense of beauty of a particular woman. The speaker compares this woman to a lovely night with a clear starry sky and goes on to convey her beauty as a harmonious meeting between darkness and light. Now, this Lord Byron's poem, She Walks in Beauty, was written in praise of a beautiful woman. History holds that he wrote it for a female cousin, Mrs. Wilmot, whom he ran into a party in London one night when she was mourning, wearing a black dress with a glittering sequin. The beauty of the woman the speaker describes is in both her external appearance and her inner goodness also. So, although it might generally be classified as a love poem, the poet never actually declares that love. He concentrates on the subject's captivating attractiveness and purity. Byron was born in 1788 in London to a John Byron and Catherine Goth, a descendant of Scottish noble family. So, this poem is written about his own cousin who saw in mourning, in uh, disappointed mood. Because of the eccentricity, it is interesting to see his perspective on beauty as illustrated through his writings. In the poem She Walks in Beauty, Byron uses strong imagery, metaphorical diction, and literary techniques also to describe perfect beauty sourcing from both internal and external attributes. Throughout the poem, Byron characterizes a woman whose beauty is so fascinating beyond this world that makes the impossible possible. Here, beauty allows darkness and light to coexist. Byron begins by illustrating a starry night, that means light, and compares this woman's beauty to that of the night, that is dark. She brings together these opposites in her beauty and creates a tender light. See line number 5. Here, tender light she creates is not like that of a daytime, because he describes daylight as gaudy, but a light that heaven refuses even daytime. So the woman's beauty and tenderness are like the beauty and the tender light of the stars. The setting can be visualized as a dark sky filled bright stars in ideal evening, which can be compared to his ideal woman. Byron then goes on to explain that if this darkness and lightness were not in the right qualities or quantities, one shade the more, see the quote, one shade the core, one ray the less. Her beauty would not be spoiled. Reference of line number 7. He explains that she would only be half impaired and therefore still radiant. Also, the combination of opposite forces, shade and ray, create a balance in this woman. Byron implies that the convergence of light and dark within this woman creates a new thing, and that is greater than the sum of the two. The darkness of her raven tresses and the note, that is important. Here you will find that Byron's bold comparison must correlate to this woman's striking external features. His use of imagery always allows for the picturing of an angelic looking woman with a dark hair and light face, with a soft aura surrounding her gingerly. Now, see from technical aspects point of view, the poet describes a woman who means such a poem that walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, line number 1 and 2. Immediately, the light of stars and the shadow of night are brought forth as contrast. Foreshadowing the further contrast the poet notices regarding this beautiful woman. Seeing her eyes, he declares that in her face all that is best of dark and bright. Now these two sentences are joined. Her beauty is contrasted to the gaudy daylight. See the comparison. In second stanza, the poet reflects on the balance in the woman's beauty. See what he says. One shade the more, one ray the less. Line number 7. Would hinder the nameless grace which surrounds her. He then turns to her inner life, seeing her external beauty as an expression of thoughts, and dwell in a place both pure and dear. That is from in line number 18. And then the final stanza returns to her face, but again sees the silent expression of peace and calm in her cheek, brow, and smiles. Her pleasant facial expressions eloquently but innocently expresses her inner goodness and peacefulness. So you find there are three major themes. Number 1 is beauty, number 2 is harmony, and number 3 is mind and body. As far as beauty is concerned, we find the romantic poets sought to idolize beauty by exploiting the emotions. The reactive feelings of the speaker come to life when the woman walks fast, her obvious outer beauty radiant on the inner. Now, when harmony comes, see, light and dark exist together in the psyche of this female. Opposite qualities are delicately balanced but producing something extra. But when mind and body comes, there is a purity of thought. The thought leads to the appearance of beauty, innocence, and love, which combine together, resulting in the fine features. As far as stanzas are concerned, in the first stanza, we see the first well-known line is simple enough, yet also slightly mysterious because of that preposition, in which the poet suggests the female figure's relationship to beauty is total. See the poem. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that is best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. Now, this is first stanza. The caesura midway between through the line places special emphasis on that word beauty. The reader has to pause at the comma, with the feminine ending to beauty, contrasting with the masculine night. The first of many opposites, and note that the enjambment, when the line continues into the next without punctuation, is vital to maintaining the sense. The female is compared to night of cloudless climes and starry skies. A smile which needs both lines to work to full effect. Now, lines 3 and 4 are similar. In that line, there is incomplete without line 4. Dark and bright meet. Again, the duality persists. Now, you will find the inversion of the iambic foot is important here in line number 4, because it reinforces the idea that these opposites exist both outwardly and inwardly. For the reader, the change from iamb to trochee means that the stress comes on the first syllable, the word meet, which alters the rhythm of line. The eyes have long been called the windows of the soul, so the speaker is suggesting that her soul tends towards perfection. And the last two lines, 7 and 6, imply that the light of the night has the qualities of skin. It can be touched, and that she has developed naturally relaxed, softened approach to it. Daylight, in comparison, is vulgar and lacking gaudy. So, this daylight generally uh, we think it is in vulgar sense because you cannot make clear work in daylight. So, in that sense, this vulgarness is used, but don't you take it otherwise. If you see stanza number 2, see what the poem is. One shade the more, one ray the less, and half impaired the nameless grace, which views in every raven trace, or softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express, how pure, how dear their dwelling place. See here, nuisances are apparent in the first line. If she gained or lost only a little of either the dark or light, her nameless grace, that would be undermined. The first line split midway and ended by a comma, and that is important focal point, for it reflects the delicacy of her being. Her natural grace moves from hair waves in every raven trace to face which peacefully reflects her inner thoughts, which must be pure. Note the repeated use of certain words and phrases which underlines meaning. The use of alliteration and internal rhyme brings musicality. The use of opposites in a line emphasis is the contrast. Now see stanza number 3. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tale of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. See, in this way, he asks. So, throughout this poem, the concentration has been on the head, hair, and face of the woman, that is, on physical attributes. This theme continues in the final stanza as the speaker introduces cheek and brow and lips. She wins people over her glowing smile. This focus on the positive physical attributes leads to the conclusion that morally she is also faultless. Her love is innocent. She spends her time doing good, suggestive of saintly pursuits and behavior. She is content with her earthly existence, unsullied by life and unattended by love. But here we get the sense of physical appearance. Now, see the literary devices used in this poem. In line number 1 and 2, smile comparing the movement of the beautiful woman to the movement of skies. In line number 6, in line number 1 and 2, we find simile. Why? Because there is a comparison between the movement of the beautiful woman to the movement of the skies. Then in line number 6, there is a metonymy, in which heaven is substituted for God or for the upper atmosphere. Then again, line number 8 to 10, metaphor is used, where they compare grace, a quality, to a perceivable phenomenon. Quality with phenomenon. Then you see line number 11 and 12. Here you find metaphor and personification, comparing thoughts to people. Metaphor and personification comparing to the mind to a home, dwelling place. Then in line number 13, 16, you find metaphor and personification again, comparing the woman's cheek and brow to persons who tell of days in goodness spent. Okay, so in this way you have to see technical aspects also. Apart from this, you will find alliteration, cloudless climb, these words, see, cloudless climb, starry skies, day denies, serenely sweet, repetition of words, repetition of sound. So, friends, the poem is about an unnamed woman. She is really quite striking, and the speaker compares her to lots of beautiful but dark things like night and starry skies. The second stanza continues to use the contrast between the light and dark, day and night, to describe her beauty. We also learn that her face is really pure and sweet. In the last two lines of this excerpt, the author states that the woman's beauty is not just external, as her inner beauty, internal beauty, that is even more important than her external beauty. Outer beauty is no doubt important, but more than that, inner beauty is important. That is what the poet wants to convey. And then the third stanza wraps it all up, saying, she is not just beautiful, she is good and innocent too. So, this is the climax. Here, what he wants to say. Thus, friends, we have carried out the interpretation of the poem She Walks in Beauty. I think if you have any doubts, you can mail me on my mail. So, thank you today. Good day.